Ever looked at Barack Obama's daughters and thought they looked like something straight out of a fairy tale? Well, there's a lot more to their story than just the glamour and grace. Behind the glitz and poise, the Obama sisters had their own set of challenges while growing up in the White House. Their mom, Michelle Obama, opened up about some tough moments, revealing the darker side of their life in the spotlight. She even shared how she felt deeply saddened by certain things, not just for herself, but also for her husband, Barack. If you're curious about the deeper truth she shared, stick around and keep watching. You won't want to miss it. Growing up in the White House wasn't exactly a normal childhood for Sasha and Malia Obama. While most kids experience their formative years with school, playdates, and family outings, the Obama sisters' lives were shaped by something much bigger. When they moved into the White House, Sasha was only 7 and Malia was 10. The White House, a symbol of American power and history, wasn't just a place where world-changing decisions were made, it also became their home. Alongside their everyday activities like any other kids, they were surrounded by state events, official dinners, and of course, the ever-watchful Secret Service. The pressure, the expectations, and the public eye were all part of their reality, things most people couldn't truly understand. But for Sasha and Malia, it was just their life, filled with a unique blend of normal childhood moments and the intense spotlight of being part of America's first family. Michelle Obama once shared with Entertainment Tonight that she and Barack did their best to give Sasha and Malia as normal a life as possible, even while living in the White House. Before they made the move to Washington in January 2009, the Obamas lived in a large home in the Kenwood neighborhood of Chicago. Their Chicago house, with 6,400 square feet of space, was a lot more modest compared to the White House, which spans an impressive 55,000 square feet. The White House wasn't just a family home. It also hosted state events and served as the setting for presidential duties. Living in the White House gave Sasha and Malia incredible opportunities most kids could only dream of. They traveled the world, met world leaders, and were part of historic moments that helped shape American society. They were there for their father's inauguration, witnessed diplomacy in action, and saw firsthand how important it is to build strong global relationships. They also watched their dad sign landmark laws, which showed them the weight of leadership and the responsibility that comes with it. These experiences, though unique, definitely gave them a global perspective on life that not many people their age will ever get. Michelle Obama, the mother of Malia and Sasha, had a huge impact on how they were raised. Growing up in the public eye is no easy feat, but the Obama sisters managed it with incredible poise and resilience. Despite the constant media attention, their mom made it a priority to shield them as much as possible from the spotlight. She worked hard to create a safe, supportive space for her daughters, protecting their privacy while making sure they had a normal childhood. The Obama sisters handled it all with impressive composure and maturity, despite their rare public appearances. Whenever they were caught in a candid moment, whether it was carving a turkey at Thanksgiving or playing a casual game of football, it was clear they were just like any other American girls, enjoying the simple joys of family life. Their parents made sure they stayed grounded, and the girls often reminded the public that they were, at their core, just normal kids. Stories of them doing chores, studying for school exams, and having sleepovers would occasionally make the news, showing that their lives weren't all about politics and glamour. They had family trips and faced the usual teenage ups and downs, just like anyone else. Known for their impeccable style and collected presence at public events, Sasha and Malia were a reflection of their mother's grace and poise. Michelle's influence has certainly helped shape them into the strong, confident women they are today. The Obama sisters' style was always spot on, perfectly blending youthful energy with a touch of sophistication. Whether attending state dinners, formal events, or just hanging out with family, their outfits were always appropriate for the occasion. Michelle, known for her grace and elegance, was a huge influence on her daughters, not just in terms of fashion, but also in how to carry themselves with confidence and poise. She taught them the importance of presenting themselves with grace, and that lesson went far beyond their wardrobe choices. When it came to public appearances, speeches, or interviews, Sasha and Malia consistently displayed maturity well beyond their years. They maintained a calm and composed presence, a true reflection of the values Michelle and Barack instilled in them. Their childhood was filled with incredible opportunities, but the limited media exposure only made people more curious about who they were when the cameras were off. Malia and Sasha weren't just the daughters of a president. They were young women with their own dreams, hopes, and aspirations. Through all the public attention, they remained grounded and resilient, always carrying the lessons learned from their remarkable upbringing. As they move forward into adulthood, the world will continue to watch, but with respect for their privacy, eager to see how these inspiring young women shape their futures. When Barack Obama became president, one of his biggest concerns was how the job would affect his daughters, Sasha and Malia. Despite the grandeur and busy schedule of being in the White House, he and Michelle made sure to give their girls as normal a childhood as possible. They wanted to teach them the value of hard work and responsibility, so just like any other kids, Sasha and Malia had chores to do around the house. They made their beds, tidied up their rooms, and helped out with daily tasks. Living in the White House didn't mean they were exempt from contributing to the family. For Sasha and Malia, the White House was just another home. Even though they were constantly under the public's watchful eye, they focused on the simple moments that made a house feel like a home. Play dates, school events, and family movie nights. Barack and Michelle were hands-on with their daughters' schooling too. They stayed in touch with the girls' teachers, making sure they weren't just keeping up with their studies, but also excelling. This dedication to their education was clear when the girls chose to miss Barack's final State of the Union address because they had exams the next day. They put their schoolwork first, showing the family's commitment to giving Sasha and Malia a grounded, balanced upbringing. When Michelle's mother, Marion, moved into the White House, it gave the family an extra layer of support, helping them stay grounded. Barack and Michelle made sure to ask the White House staff to treat Sasha and Malia like any other kids. They wanted the girls to be able to do regular kid things without feeling like they were constantly under a microscope. At first, this was a bit of an odd request for the White House staff, who were used to the formality and high expectations that come with working for the president. But soon enough, the staff saw Sasha and Malia not just as first daughters, but as part of the extended family. And they made sure the girls could enjoy moments of privacy, away from cameras and reporters. Barack and Michelle worked hard to protect their daughters from the intense public scrutiny. But it wasn't just about shielding them. It was also about teaching them important life lessons. Barack often spoke about the values his own mother instilled in him, like kindness, empathy, and the importance of lifting others up. These were the same principles he and Michelle hoped to pass down to their daughters. Michelle once shared a poignant moment from Malia and Sasha's first day at their new school in Washington. She recalled watching her young girls, just 7 and 10 at the time, climb into black SUVs surrounded by big security men with guns. The image of their little faces pressed against the window stuck with her, and she thought, "What have we done?" That moment was a turning point for Michelle, as she realized that their time in the White House would shape who Malia and Sasha would grow up to be. Barack and Michelle were always there for Malia and Sasha, supporting their academic goals and encouraging them to pursue their passions. They stressed the importance of being curious and developing intellectually, but also taught them that a life filled with opportunities should be used to serve others. This is a value the Obama sisters have carried into adulthood. Michelle often spoke passionately about how their journey wasn't just about academic success, it was about becoming kind, selfless individuals who make a difference. Despite their parents' high-profile roles, the Obama sisters navigated the challenges of balancing family life and public responsibility with grace and resilience. They held tight to the values that shaped their early years. But of course, this leads to a natural question. Why did Michelle Obama, despite being such a public figure, go to such lengths to protect her daughters from the media? Why did she, even as a household name, prefer to keep her family's life private? Michelle Obama is more than just the partner of Barack Obama. She's a powerhouse in her own right. While many first got to know her as the wife of an up-and-coming senator from Illinois, it quickly became clear that Michelle was a force to be reckoned with. Though fiercely supportive of her husband throughout his campaigns and presidency, she's also a highly accomplished lawyer, a passionate public servant, and a staunch advocate for a variety of social causes. As a mother, Michelle poured her heart into raising Malia and Sasha, teaching them strong values she hoped would shape their futures. So, when her daughters made a surprising confession, it was especially emotional for her. Known for her grace, powerful speeches, and presence that graced magazine covers, Michelle became a global icon. However, despite the fame, she always longed for a more private life, free from the spotlight. The demands of being First Lady came with intense attention and a fast-paced lifestyle, which didn't match her personal desire for peace and privacy. Her many achievements made her an inspiration, and people were eager to know more about her beyond the public image. When her memoir Becoming was released in 2018, it was a dream come true for fans. For the first time, Michelle openly shared her life story, the challenges, the triumphs, and how she managed to juggle her public duties with her personal aspirations. Michelle opened up about the highs and lows of her early years growing up on the south side of Chicago. Her story wasn't just about making it big in her career, but also about the strong family and community values that shaped her. She shared the struggles and rewards of balancing being a working mother, the pressures that came with being First Lady, and the ups and downs of her marriage. One of the most touching parts of her story was her longing for the simple things, like being able to walk down the street without being noticed or enjoying a quiet lunch without eyes on her. These honest moments gave us a peek into a side of Michelle that was thoughtful, vulnerable, and very human. When Becoming was released, it became an instant bestseller. It was translated into several languages and resonated with people all around the world. It wasn't just an autobiography, it was a masterclass in being true to yourself. Book clubs, college courses, and discussion groups dove into its pages, finding universal themes of identity, ambition, love, and resilience. Michelle's story, though deeply personal, mirrored the dreams and struggles of so many people worldwide. Her openness about her struggles with self-worth, concerns about being a good wife and mother, and her experiences with prejudice and discrimination really hit home for many readers. It was refreshing for people to hear her speak honestly about these things, especially when most public figures tend to put up a guarded front. But Becoming wasn't just a look back. It gave us a glimpse of Michelle's future, too. Even after leaving the White House, she talked about her ongoing journey of self-improvement, her hopes for a more compassionate world, her dreams for future generations, and her commitment to the causes she cares about. In the end, Becoming was more than just a book. It was a movement sparking inspiration and change. Michelle Obama's self-image and how the world saw her were both shaped and changed by her memoir. By peeling back the layers, Becoming painted a picture of a woman whose private and public lives were both intricate and full of depth. It showcased her strength, determination, and relentless spirit. Through her own words, Michelle helped the world understand her better, while many people found parts of themselves reflected in her story. She gave us so many incredible moments during her time as First Lady, but her book revealed a more personal, introspective side of her, one that was always evolving. Before Michelle Obama became a global icon, she was just Michelle LaVaughn Robinson. Born on January 17, 1964, to Fraser and Marion Robinson, she grew up in a modest bungalow in the South Shore neighborhood of Chicago. Despite having limited resources, the Robinson family was incredibly close-knit and filled with love and support. Her father worked as a city pump operator and a precinct captain for the Democratic Party, while her mother was a secretary who later decided to stay at home to raise Michelle and her older brother Craig. Michelle often spoke about her father's battle with multiple sclerosis, and how, despite the challenges it brought, he continued to get up every day and work hard to support his family. From him, Michelle learned that your circumstances don't define your potential. Growing up in a neighborhood facing issues like racial segregation and economic hardship, Michelle's family still placed a huge value on education and hard work. Both she and Craig were raised with a strong emphasis on the importance of striving for success through education. Michelle shared a room with her older brother Craig, who was not just her sibling but also her first role model. The two were very close, and Craig always had her back. He played such an important role in Michelle's life that he even introduced her to Barack Obama, who would later become her husband. Michelle's first experience with school was at Bryn Mawr Elementary, now known as Bew Academy. She loved to learn and was a bright student, but even though she was smart, she often faced the challenge of being underestimated because of her background. Michelle, however, wasn't the type to let that stop her. She worked hard and was eventually accepted into Princeton University, an Ivy League school. But even at Princeton, Michelle sometimes felt out of place because of her race and background. Rather than shy away, she used her experience to speak up about race and push for more diversity and understanding. Her final thesis focused on the experiences of African American graduates at Princeton, showing her commitment to addressing racial issues. Michelle didn't stop there. She went on to Harvard Law School, where she continued to challenge stereotypes and break down barriers. She made history as the first African-American woman to become the Associate Dean at the University of Chicago. Her early years were filled with determination, perseverance, and an unrelenting drive for excellence. She faced many challenges along the way, but she overcame them all, becoming the powerful woman we know today. Michelle's journey was shaped by a mix of love, challenges, family support, self-belief, and the realities of racial dynamics. At the heart of it all was her unwavering focus on education, a value that was always central to the Obama family. Education has always been much more than a means to success for them. It's a core part of their values. Whether in the White House or after their time in office, education has remained a top priority for the Obamas throughout their public lives. Barack and Michelle Obama have always been huge advocates for the transformative power of education. Their commitment to education was clear, not just in their personal lives, but in the policies they championed as well. Their daughters, Sasha and Malia, are prime examples of how the Obama family prioritized learning. Throughout their time in the White House, both Barack and Michelle consistently highlighted the importance of education, not just for their own children, but for all young people in America. They launched initiatives like Reach Higher and Let Girls Learn to help more students get access to education and to encourage academic excellence. As Barack Obama often said, education is the key to unlocking the potential of every child and building a brighter future for our nation. He truly believed in the power of education as an equalizer, a way to level the playing field for everyone. Barack's own educational journey is a testament to his belief in the power of learning. He grew up in a unique multicultural environment and attended the prestigious Punahou School in Honolulu, where he thrived academically and athletically, showing early signs of leadership. After high school, he spent 2 years at Occidental College in Los Angeles, before transferring to Columbia University in New York, where he earned a degree in political science. His academic journey didn't stop there. He then went on to Harvard Law School, where he became a standout student. In fact, he made history by becoming the first African-American president of the Harvard Law Review. His role in law and politics solidified his place as a rising star and drew national attention. Barack's impressive academic background speaks to his belief in education's ability to open doors and create opportunities. Michelle, too, has a deep respect for education. Raised in Chicago's public school system, her parents instilled in her the value of learning. Like her husband, she excelled academically, going on to graduate from Princeton University and later from Harvard Law School. Together, the Obamas' passion for education has been a driving force behind their public and private lives, constantly advocating for change and opportunity through learning. After graduating from Harvard, Michelle Obama set off on a career that perfectly blended her legal skills with her passion for public service and community development. She kicked off her professional journey at the well-respected Sidley Austin law firm in Chicago, a role that allowed her to combine her expertise with her desire to make a positive impact on the community. Education remained a central focus for Michelle and Barack when it came to raising their daughters. Despite the unique experience of growing up in the White House, Malia and Sasha were held to the same high academic standards as any other children. From an early age, they were encouraged to prioritize their studies and develop a genuine love for learning. Malia, in particular, showed a deep interest in the arts, especially film, and her parents fully supported her passion. After graduating high school in 2016, Malia chose to take a gap year, during which she interned with Harvey Weinstein at the Weinstein Company and worked on the HBO series Girls, gaining hands-on experience in the film industry. Sasha, who is a bit more private, also displayed a strong commitment to her education. She attended Sidwell Friends School, an esteemed private school in Washington, D.C., while her father was president. After finishing high school, she enrolled at the University of Michigan, seeking a broader, more diverse public university experience. Eventually, she transferred to the University of Southern California, USC, where she earned her degree in sociology. Even after leaving the White House, the Obamas have continued to support education through various initiatives. Their dedication to education as a fundamental human right remains unwavering. This is evident in the creation of the Obama Foundation and the introduction of scholarship programs, both of which aim to provide greater access to education for students around the world. Malia Obama's decision to take a gap year after high school was a surprising yet insightful choice, particularly given her family's strong emphasis on education. However, this decision wasn't simply about taking a break from academics. It was a period of exploration, growth, and self-discovery. In a country where gap years are less common than in other parts of the world, Malia's choice attracted attention. She viewed it as an opportunity to step outside the sheltered environment of the White House and explore her interests beyond the classroom. One of the most talked about aspects of Malia's gap year was her internship in the film industry. She began her journey in entertainment during the summer of 2015 with an internship on the set of the TV series Girls. This experience in the entertainment world was pivotal in shaping her understanding of the industry. Her subsequent role at the Weinstein Company in New York exposed her to the intricate processes of film production, from writing screenplays to post-production editing. These hands-on experiences not only gave Malia valuable industry insights, but also helped her develop a deeper understanding of her potential career path. Malia's gap year provided more than just professional experience. It was also a time for personal reflection. With her departure from the White House, she was faced with the challenge of navigating life as an independent young adult. This break allowed her to move beyond the public persona of being the first daughter and focus on discovering her authentic self. It was a critical phase as she transitioned into the next chapter of her life, including college. Malia's gap year sparked a broader conversation about the benefits of taking time off from formal education to explore personal interests, gain real-world experience, and discover one's true passions. It highlighted the value of self-discovery and the importance of learning beyond traditional academic environments, which can often be just as transformative as classroom education. Malia Obama's decision to take a gap year sparked significant debate across the nation, particularly among educators, students, and parents. Some praised the gap year for offering invaluable life experiences, allowing Malia to grow personally, gain practical skills, and explore her interests outside of academia. However, others expressed concerns about the potential academic setbacks of delaying formal education. The discussions surrounding her gap year underscored the broader conversation about the pros and cons of taking time off before pursuing higher education. Despite the controversy, Malia's year off seemed to serve her well, shaping her into a more self-assured individual. Her internships in the film industry, travels, and moments of introspection helped her understand her career aspirations and her evolving identity, particularly in a world where she had always been in the public eye. These experiences allowed her to refine her interests and build a solid foundation for her future, which eventually led her to Harvard University. As she entered this new phase of life, there was a sense of anticipation for her academic journey and her maturation as a young woman. Malia's growing dedication to her craft, particularly in the entertainment industry, became more evident as she embarked on new professional ventures. After her time at Harvard, she worked on the Amazon show Swarm with Donald Glover, showcasing her passion and dedication to storytelling. Her contributions were highly praised, with Janine Neighbors, the co-creator of the show, describing Malia as an incredible writer who brought a lot to the table. This praise highlighted Malia's evolving career trajectory in the movie industry, underscoring her focus and commitment to honing her craft. Malia also took steps to make her mark in the industry, working on her own short film, signaling the start of what could be a promising film career. Meanwhile, Michelle Obama was navigating the intense scrutiny of being in the political spotlight, especially as her husband, Barack Obama, launched his presidential campaign. Michelle's role was not just to support her husband silently. She became an outspoken advocate, sharing their shared vision for a better future. As the campaign unfolded, Michelle's every move was examined, from her words to her choice of clothing, with the public scrutinizing even the smallest details of her life. Despite her successes and admirable personal qualities, being a lawyer, a mother, and an advocate, Michelle found herself under constant public criticism. Yet, she also received immense support from people who found her story of optimism and resilience to be both humanizing and relatable, bringing a refreshing perspective to the often impersonal world of politics. Her honesty about her background, her hopes for her children, and her vision for the country resonated with many. However, Michelle's words were not always understood as intended, leading to frequent misinterpretations and political debates that added complexity to her already demanding role as a public figure. For example, when Michelle Obama said she was proud of her country, some media outlets twisted her words, interpreting them as a lack of patriotism. This situation really highlighted the tricky balance Michelle had to strike between being genuine and avoiding misunderstandings. Even with all these challenges, Michelle had plenty of support from her family, close friends, and a huge number of Americans. Her ability to handle criticism with such dignity and grace didn't go unnoticed, and grassroots groups quickly rallied behind her. Michelle's strength and calmness in the face of constant scrutiny won her a lot of admiration, especially from young girls. The White House was flooded with letters from them, but they weren't just fan mail. They were heartfelt messages showing how much Michelle had inspired them. She became a symbol of hope for many, someone they looked up to. Her firm belief in her values gave her the power to rise above the controversy. Michelle often shared the lessons her parents taught her about setting aside hate and responding with kindness. She truly lived by this, especially when she famously said, "When they go low, we go high." This perfectly summed up how she dealt with negativity and kept her head held high. As First Lady, Michelle's actions reflected her deep commitment to the causes she cared about, like supporting military families and fighting childhood obesity through the Let's Move campaign. Even though the media's harsh criticism sometimes made things harder, it only fueled her drive to make a real impact. She always carried herself with elegance and grace, whether at public events or casual appearances. Michelle became known for her fashion sense, mixing high-end fashion with more everyday looks, making her wardrobe choices the talk of the town. But it was her down-to-earth nature and authenticity that really won people over. Even with all the glamour, Michelle was open about the struggles of balancing her career with her family life, a reality many mothers could relate to. During the COVID-19 lockdown, she even shared a touching story about her daughters, Malia and Sasha, offering a glimpse into their lives during such a challenging time. This confession came during a virtual appearance on Conan O'Brien's talk show, where Michelle shared how the Obama family found themselves spending an extraordinary amount of time together at home during the pandemic, just like many other families. Of course, there were plenty of happy bonding moments, but it wasn't all smooth sailing. Barack had often talked about the importance of family time and the challenges that can come with it. Michelle explained that at first, everyone was excited about all the extra time together. But as the lockdown dragged on, Malia and Sasha started to get a bit tired of being cooped up with their parents. "It was great at first," Michelle said, "but as time went on, Malia and Sasha started to feel a bit sick of us." This is something many parents, especially those with teenagers or young adults, could relate to, as they were probably going through the same thing with their kids. Michelle mentioned how the family had to find a way to balance staying close and giving each other the space they needed. It wasn't always easy, but they managed to make it work. Michelle's life continues to inspire people all over the world. Her grace, strength, and hopeful outlook are timeless. Of course, Barack's legacy as president also had a huge impact, setting new standards for progress. Even with his demanding schedule, he was dedicated to raising Malia and Sasha with values like integrity, humility, and service. Qualities that say a lot about his character. What part of the Obama family's journey inspires you the most? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this.